Today, it was officially confirmed. Xbox and Bethesda are hosting a developer direct on Wednesday, January 25th that will give us a bit of a closer look at some of their upcoming games. If you saw my video from a couple of days ago, you'll know that Jez Corden leaked this entire event with near perfect accuracy. Jez Corden right now is probably one of the most accurate insiders for Xbox info. So you might be wondering, okay, well, if he just leaked the event and you made a video on it, what's the point of this video? Well, in this official announcement from Bethesda and Xbox, we actually got some other and new pretty interesting details, some of which may have actually proven a leak to be true that we got just a couple of weeks ago and a lot of people are overlooking. So in turn, we may have actually gotten more new details from that leak. But even further in this, Bethesda also confirmed that we are getting yet another new event, and I think we have even more evidence as to why Starfield is not delayed. But first, let's look at the new developer direct info. It's described as having a focus on big features, extended gameplay showcases, and release dates for Xbox games launching in the next few months. And the games they name explicitly here are the exact same that Jez Corden called out: ESO, Forza, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. And in this announcement, they actually did a pretty nice job of getting specific on what exactly we'll be seeing, describing how ESO will reveal the next big chapter update. There's going to be new Forza gameplay, PvP gameplay for Minecraft Legends, as well as with Redfall, we're going to be getting both single player and multiplayer gameplay that's going to show off combat customization, bosses, and the open world overall. Aaron Greenberg, the VP of marketing at Xbox, describes how this showcase will be a bit of a unique one, as there's going to be no host during the event. Instead, we're going to be hearing from the dev teams on these games, and all the while getting extended gameplay looks at the games. It doesn't seem like this is going to be an event with a lot of surprises, because it definitely seems like it's on the shorter side at just 45 minutes long. The Elder Scrolls Online actually has a second event that's going to be on the same exact day as the developer direct, and its second event is set to begin just 45 minutes after the start of the developer direct. So this basically confirms the developer direct will run about 45 minutes, or perhaps even slightly less. And overall, this seems like a pretty cool one to me. It looks like this event will be less about those CGI trailers and instead a real focus on devs playing the game and showing off some of the core features of those games. Which for me at least, actually seeing devs talk about the game and seeing some more raw-esque gameplay is what I like to see. We've had one too many E3s of full CGI trailers and I'm just sick of that, so I actually really like that Xbox and Bethesda are heading in this direction. But of course, with all of this, there is the elephant in the room with Starfield. Unfortunately, as predicted, Bethesda does comment on Starfield here. They confirm that Starfield will not be present at the developer direct, but the fact that it is absent may even be exciting news because Bethesda clarifies to dedicate a proper amount of time for a deep dive into Starfield, a standalone show is in the works. Which hopefully means that at some point in February or even March, we'll get a dedicated 30 to 45 minute long showcase of just Todd Howard and Starfield and an actual look at the gameplay and game systems of this upcoming game. And I think this reveal of a second event coming in the next couple of months, or at least it's implied it's coming in the next couple of months, does mean a couple of things. There are some other implications from this. On one hand, Xbox and Bethesda are going to be way more active with events going forward. At least it seems like it's going to be that way for the next few months. We're going to have this event in January, just a couple of weeks away. There's going to be another dedicated Starfield event after that, but also you have to remember E3 is only 5 months away, almost exactly. So what that means is in the next 5 months, we will see things from Xbox and Bethesda on 3 separate occasions. 3 separate events are happening. And I mean, technically it could even be more. It's 3 events that we know about. And the Starfield event does feel like a bigger deal because neither Bethesda nor Xbox typically does a standalone event like this. If there is a standalone showcase, oftentimes it's more on the community side or just answering questions, and the vast majority of the time when they actually do events, you're seeing a bunch of games all at once. So the fact that we're getting this standalone event where we'll likely get a deeper dive into Starfield along with an actual release date, I hope, does kind of feel like a bigger deal. It seems like something they may be doing more of in the future. But then let's also boost your Starfield hype. I think this event getting officially announced and pretty much every detail that Jez Corden leaked a couple of days ago being correct is a massive boost to Jez Corden's credibility. And with that in mind, I think it is now worth highlighting his other Starfield tweet. Earlier in January, he mentioned how every scrap of info I heard about Starfield is just quite lovely. This is coming shortly after a supposed leak from Colt Eastwood where he heard playtesters describe Starfield as bigger and more ambitious than was previously expected. At the time, I didn't really feel the need to cover these because they were largely unverified or just throwaway tweets here or there, but it definitely sounds like Jez knows what he's talking about, so the fact that he's tweeting good things things about Starfield makes me feel good about Starfield. So what does that all mean? I don't really know. They're vague statements, but at the very least they are positive vague statements. But further, to me this event is a big implication that Starfield is probably not delayed. Once the rumor dropped that a new Bethesda event was happening in January, but Starfield wouldn't be there, many people were immediately convinced that this means Starfield is delayed once again to Q4 2023, likely meaning that Starfield is coming out in November of 2023 like Bethesda typically does with their games. But to me, if Starfield was actually delayed, Bethesda wouldn't be doing a Starfield event before E3. The fact that we are actually getting a dedicated Starfield event just a couple of months before E3 does indicate to me that Starfield is still on track to be releasing at some point before E3. Because otherwise, why not just wait? E3 is such a big and monumental showcase in its own right. To me, it would seem odd if the game was coming out in November to have not only an event in March, but then also another event in June where they probably have to talk about Starfield a second time. Why not just do it all in June? Why do it in February or March 1st? At least that's my thinking. The fact that Starfield is getting a standalone event is a pretty good sign that the game is still coming out before June 2023, or at least in the early part of June 2023. Although this still is a really interesting situation, because if Starfield is truly not delayed, we're looking at a very, very short marketing window for Bethesda. Best case scenario right now, we see a Starfield event in February. And if the game comes out in April, as many people are hoping for, that is only going to be 2 months of marketing and really 2 months of pre-orders. The pre-orders is the big part for me. Right now, you can't buy Starfield, at least not from any official sources. And of course, if you want to take off to play this game on release, you can't do that because you don't know when it's coming out. The rumor right now is Redfall is getting a release date of May 2nd, 2023. And if that's true, many people assume Starfield wouldn't release in the same month. So a lot of people assume a Starfield release date in either April or June. And overall, this developer direct announcement and Starfield not being there has definitely had some interesting outcomes on certain leaks that have popped up over the past couple of weeks. It seems to put more emphasis that this random Reddit leaker was in fact correct, as it was one of the first sources to say a January event was happening, and it even got the Redfall release date right, at least according to JuiceHead. So if it got that info right, maybe all of the other info it leaked was also right. The leak also mentioned that Spooky Japanese Ghost would be returning in March with new content and it would be coming to Game Pass. This is referring to Ghostwire Tokyo finally coming to Xbox Game Pass and probably with some new content or a DLC. But even beyond that, they mentioned how Tango Gameworks has another game also coming late in 2023 with Hi-Fi Rush, although no other details are shared. The other thing the leaker said is Starfield is probably launching before Redfall. Now that we have official confirmation that Starfield's not at the January event, that seems crazy. Redfall is at a January event, Starfield isn't, but Starfield is somehow coming out first. Although hypothetically, an April release date for Starfield could fall in line with Redfall coming out the following month in May. We have heard in the past how Todd Howard wanted a shorter marketing window for his games, but would Bethesda actually do a February release date reveal to an April release? That is barely any time. Either way, since this post was made and some of the predictions did become correct, the leaker has deleted their account, so who knows. But then we have this other super interesting leak that popped up late last week, and in many ways is actually more interesting. There was a post made on the Xbox Game Pass subreddit about Xbox not announcing new games coming to Game Pass. There's actually been a lot of frustration in the community about Xbox not announcing new Game Pass games as of late, but somebody commented about how Xbox is going to have a show later in January, and they are likely holding back new Game Pass announcements or reveals until then. That post was immediately downvoted because of course it was, and that same poster followed up in some of the replies saying that he didn't even realize the show he was talking about wasn't publicly confirmed yet, and how his source claims the show will happen between January 24th and January 26th, and specifically it's going to feature Minecraft and Forza, but Starfield will not be there. Which, if that sounds like it's kind of right, it's because it is right. The developer direct is occurring on January 25th, right in the time frame this leaker suggested, and it is featuring both Minecraft and Forza, and now we know Starfield isn't going to be there. The crazy part about this is all of this information was posted online a full 4 days before JuiceHead made his article. So as far as I can tell, this Reddit account is the first person to correctly predict this event, and again, scooped JuiceHead. And it gets even juicier because after all of this was revealed publicly, that user returned to say that Starfield is in fact delayed to late 2023, and Redfall would be coming in mid-2023. Apparently both games needed some more time, and that mid-2023 falls pretty closely in line with the other rumors of Redfall coming out in May. And to be honest, I don't really know what to make of this. Unlike the other leaker that we highlighted in this video, this isn't just some random Reddit account. I mean, this guy's like super active on Reddit and a quintessential Redditor. He's posting on 2X chromosomes, conspiracy subreddits, the whole 9 yards. And although there were a bunch of rumors around a January event or even a Q1 event, getting the exact time frame right down to just a 3-day window, but even more importantly, predicting that Starfield wouldn't be there is kind of huge. I mean, think back to a week ago. If somebody was speculating around an event happening in January, you would assume Starfield would be there. You would assume Starfield would be the cornerstone of the show. To me, that's the biggest prediction of all of them to come from this account. And then the fact that he's also apparently leaking that Starfield was delayed is interesting. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't really know, but it definitely is something worth highlighting because that was one incredible prediction either way. But with that in mind, that's the update. We obviously are going to be hearing a lot more from Bethesda and Xbox over the next few months. Numerous new events are on the horizon, and in turn, we're also getting a bunch of release dates for all of these games because we don't really know when a lot of them are coming out, but seemingly they're right around the corner. Hopefully you guys found this one informative. If you enjoyed the content, you can get subscribed. I, of course, will be covering all of these events in a full way on the channel. With that said, though, as always, again, I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.